Hi, welcome to this second session of Spearo meeting. So I just put the theme today is how to choose your first kit, which most of you already have, but I'm just going to go over it quickly, and then after we can move into questions if that's okay with you guys. If there is any question popping up, I will answer the question as we go. Right. So when you're starting spearfishing, your first things to buy, in my opinion, is your mask. So you need to go in the shop because trusting what is online, if you have no idea what you're doing, is I think it's best to go and get a mask, try it on with all the the little tricks. So to try a mask, basically you just remove the band, pop the mask without the band on your face, and inhale by your nose to make it to create a vacuum. Well, this one is a bit moldy. To create the vacuum, and if you stick on your face while you're trying to pull it and creating the vacuum, that means the mask is fitting your face properly. Also, you need to be careful to, depending on the shape of your face, to not pushing too much around the sinus bar there and the top of the nose. It can be painful if you go at depth, and because with the squeeze, it's going to go further into your face, and then might hurt yourself. So that's the 2 points. But that's the primary stuff to get is a good mask. After the rest can be, yeah, that's still my point of view, but the rest can be bought secondhand. You don't have to go for a full brand new kit. Yeah, if you got the budget, go for it. If you don't have, don't worry, you will have time to buy your stuff piece by piece and really enjoy your diving. So secondly, you will have to choose a wetsuit. So a wetsuit will depend on where you're spearfishing, but I've been spearfishing around the UK with a 7 top and 5 mid bottom, and is more than enough. Sometimes in winter, if you do long swimming, can be even a bit hot, but the rest of the time is completely fine. That's and wetsuit wise, as a beginner, I will go for a lycra and not a smooth skin, who's asking a little bit more care, I would say. And these things that everyone is talking about, all right, it will change your life. It will really change your life in the way of your wetsuit not gonna stink. Your wife will like you to come back home, and also you will avoid any infections, skin infections, but also ears infections, because when you pee in your wetsuit, it goes all around your wetsuit and it goes into your ears. So you're creating like all these eardrum infections. That's one thing about, and that's really personal. I like the short ones, not the one with the long johns ones with the straps. Just give me a bit too much thickness of neoprene here, and it's just compressing your chest when you put the vest on the top of it. But that's very personal, and but 5 mil short pants and a top, a 7 mil top, it's perfect for the UK. For the rest, so the wetsuit, the mask, so that's your two main things. After fins, you can go fiber, you can go carbon, but you can start with a long, I would say if you start spearfishing, start with a long fins. Don't go for any diving fins like the short ones. Just go for a plastic one, but the long one. So it could be, there's a few brands. You got the Gara HF from Crazy, you got the Mondial from Busher, there's some SEAC. Yeah, they're roughly same standards. Just if you got the chance, get the weights of them, and some are lighter. If you planning to swim a lot, go for the lightest one. And then if the budget is allowing you to go for fiber or even carbons, yeah, go ahead for it. There is quite a lot of small maker for carbon fiber, and they will provide you good fins. So the range of price, it goes from 150 quid, I think, for the cheapest ones, all the way up to 300, 400. So after that's really budget, but you can start with plastic. I did my first 7 years of spearfishing with plastics, and so it doesn't really. It's just comfort. After, if you go into carbon, it just improve your comfort, and you make you last a bit longer, because the property of the carbon make the swimming a bit easier. So then next, I would say now, well, snorkel. I'm not going to talk about it very long. It's just a very basic one, tube. If you want a valve, you can have a valve. I don't like it. I've got a basic one. It cost 10, 15 quid maximum. There is no money to spend on that, as long as it's long enough to go around your head and pop behind your head. The rest is, I think, a fantasy. So now in a knife. So I always had this kind of knife. They call that daggers, long thin blade with a pointy tip, and that do the job for most waters and all the fish you will find in the UK, and even the Med. That this one is a reef for the brand, but you got the same model coming from many other brands. So, and I'm wearing it most of the time. I'm wearing it on my arm. In the past, I used to wear it in the inside of my legs, but that's, once again, you need to remember it needs to be accessible quickly, and not having many straps all around lines and everything. It's a safety equipment before to be a killing equipment. So you need to grab it. So that's for the knife, fins, knife, and then the spear gun. So here, a basic single barb 75, and like I say often, I like having a small reel. So here for the UK is not about because we're going to shoot like a gigantic fish, but it's more because if you get your spear stuck into a rock or anything like that, you can come back up to the surface and do your reel and come back up to the surface, not losing your gear, staying safe, and it will help you. And then after, obviously, don't forget your safety buoy. So it could be like a large float, like a bodyboard with a flag on it, if you thinking doing long swims, because you can lay on it, or just go for like a torpedo shape ones, and that would be it. All right, so I got already a question from Alex. So soft blades on 90 kilo at 1.8 meters high and above average. Okay, quite strong legs. You will have some problem. If you go for fiberglass or carbons, I would say with that weight and height, I would say go for at least a medium. Start for medium. Don't go for soft. You won't benefit of the carbon if you go too soft. That makes sense, Alex? Just to give you an idea.
Makes sense. I have the mediums carbons, but just was curious from somebody with more experience. I obviously don't want to have too strong legs for the blades. Therefore, my question.
Okay. The thing is, what's also you need to see is, are you diving from a boat or are you diving mostly from the shore? So if you're diving,
Yes, from the
yeah.
shore.
So if you're diving only from shore, that means you're gonna have to swim a lot, and all this swimming gonna tire your legs. So if you got a slightly softer blade, it will be better. If you dive from a boat, instead of going for a medium, I will go for a medium plus, and I would say a medium lighter if you do from the shore. So it just yeah, depending the kind of style of spearfishing you're doing and from where. If you got a spot where you're swimming only 10 minutes and it's fine, uh, you can go for harder blades. But if you're planning to swim maybe 1-2K in total plus you're diving up and down, I would go for quite a soft one to not burn your legs too quickly. All right. Anyone has any questions? Any more questions? Okay, Matt. Okay, so when the float, he says about the question is about the float. So the float, so the first option is you have a bodyboard, so you just pack all your kits on it, lay on it, and swim out to the spot you might have find on the GPS application or whatever, or even on Google Earth. You say, "Oh, I saw a reef on that mapping, and I would like to try it." So, okay, you go for it. So just jump on your board. Otherwise, what I do, I got a lead, and I just slide it on the side of my belt, and then if I go down, I still have it. It's not tied up to you. It just slide between your wetsuit and the strap of your belt. And if I need to mark something, because I find, I don't know, could be a scallop ground or a hole, a nice cave, I want to explore a bit more because maybe there is a lobster in it, I just unhook it, put it in front of what I find or next to what I found, and come back up, and then I will come back down to be able to have a proper look and with a nicer breath than just the breath you have when you're exploring. And yes, once you have an area you want to work out, you trying to keep your float quite near you. There is regulation was there is nothing in the UK. There is a big blank. There is nothing official, I would say, but like in France, the floats, you must be linked to your float at all time. But the fact being linked at all time make you a bit also in danger. So, but if the line is attached to you, it's fine, and you can release it quickly. It's okay. But also, if you drop your mark to use it as a marker, don't go too far away from your mark, because it's your safety equipment. So you keep that in mind. You need to be reachable as quickly as possible. All right, Matt. Is that answer the question? Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's yeah.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah. It was the first time I went. I've got a boy and stuff. So the first time I went out, I had it attached to me because I was worried that it was going to float off and stuff. But I found that I was getting a bit tangled and stuff like. So I was just I swapped it for some sort of anchor method myself with a reel and stuff. So I was just curious as to what you did and stuff.
Yeah, basically, I have this H shape stuff, and I load all my line on it, and then I just with that equipment piece of equipment you can adjust the depth. So I'm not pulling all. I got 30 meters of line, but I'm not pulling 30 meters out. I'm just putting maybe 10 because I'm going to be around the 10-meter mark. So you're just adjusting, so you don't have all that line floating around. Otherwise, yeah, just keep in mind is your safety. That's your safety. Because if you're tired, if you start cramping or anything, you just lay on it and have your breath. Okay, bring your ID together, and then make a plan to either way go back or decide to carry on. But if you feel a bit uncertain, just swim slowly, laying on your float, and you will be safe to go back to the shore. So yeah, I didn't talk about the belt. So the belt is a basic basic strap with a quick release buckle. That's the most simple. Keep it simple. don't try different system of buckles. No, the basic one from your belt is what you need to use. The only thing you can add up later on is a crotch strap. So when you go upside down, your belt is not going underneath your arms. But when you do shallow dives around 10 meters, you won't have this problem. It's when you go over it, because the pressure outside is going to compress your chest and your the cavities, plus compressing the neoprene of your wetsuit, and then that allowed the belt to go up and down around your body. So having a crotch strap will just avoid it. All right. So yeah, well, I didn't see the question, but Esme is asking for the weight. So weight-wise, it's about 1 kilo. It's really theoretical. So it's about 1 kilo per 10 kilo of body weight for a 7 mil wetsuit, and you should be around that mark. But it's also depending on the depth you're working. I'm just going to give you an example. I'm 90 kilo, 1.74 meters high, 7 mil top, 5 mil bottom, and I'm using, when I'm over the 15-meter mark, I'm using only 4.5 kilo. So I'm very light. So the way down is a bit harder, but my way up is way faster. So that's a safety thing. And I got a vest, because to spread a bit the weight, I got a vest with 2 kilo. So I'll go up to 6.5 kilo when I am between 0 and 15. So it's really adapting. So theoretically, I should be 7 kilo, well, almost maybe 9 kilo now, but saying 7 kilo, 8 kilo, but it's way too heavy for me. So you need to go down a little bit, and what I have as well is a half kilo lead on my belt, so you can play with that half kilo, take it off, put it back, and things like that to find the right weight. So saying you're diving between 0 and 10 kilo, 0 and 10 meters, or 10 and 15 meters, you don't want to arrive on your 10 meters and crashing into the ground. If you do that, that means you're way too heavy. But in the same time, you want to find around 2 or 3 meters on top of that 10 meters bottom to be able to cruise without sinking. So you're having that balance there. So yeah, it's a play. There is no perfect rules. I won't be able to tell you, you need to have that weight on your belt. No, it's really depending on where you're spearfishing, the depth, and after your ability. So your duck dive example, if you got a good duck dive, you can put a bit less weight because you are more efficient on your duck dive, and it makes the start of the dive easy enough to go down. When your duck dive is not that great, you like to have a bit more weight, so it helps you to go down these few 4 meters, first meters. So yeah, basically I would go 1 kilo per kilo of body weight, and you take off 1 or 2 kilo from that, and you work your weight around that. That's Esme, is that okay? That clear enough?
Very helpful.
Okay.
With maybe like 3 kilos of lead, but like that's for line diving. And I've been doing that when I'm spearing, and I think maybe I need to put some more weight on my belt.
Yeah, just depending on how deep you're diving.
Pardon?
How deep are you going when you're diving?
On the line, like down to 30.
Okay.
But that's like very different, than
yeah, it's a bit different. Free diving and the free diving and the spearfishing, we on free diving you just want to go down and back up, when in spearfishing you want to be a bit stable because and able to move without scratching the bottom, and So yeah, you
To
need.
be honest, like I've only done a few shore dives and it's been pretty shallow. I would say like nothing deeper than 15
Okay.
meters.
Yeah.
So
So
yeah.
you should be good with like a 5.5, 6 kilo, and you be fine, and you won't have this feeling of crashing into the ground when you go over the right to the bottom. So
Cool. Thank you.
you're welcome. Yes. So Matt is asking if I look at the tide, the current before I go somewhere diving. I'm using a lot of the different apps. So my favorite one is the Navionics. So that gives you a good chart of where you're going to go. So study the shape of the bay and things like that. And on the other side, I'm using. I can show you quickly. That's what I'm using for the tide. So it's going to give you well, the high water, low water, also the coefficient. So higher the coefficient is, stronger the current will be. So example, if I'm planning diving some wrecks, I'm looking for times of the year where the tide is what you call neap tides, because it makes it much easier to explore deep wrecks and stuff like that. And also you need to find out it's the Admiralty chart. They providing on some specific areas. The one I have in mind is around Portland Bill. They providing, you can buy it online, or I don't know if you can have it for free, but you can buy it online for sure. It's how the tide and the current are behaving around critical points. So like Portland Bill, you got a map for every hours into the tide, and it show you with arrows. It's going to show you how the current is behaving, where it's dropping, where it's picking up, and at what time from the high tide. So that can help you a lot to prevent any unfortunate accidents, or at least ending up getting out where you didn't start. So unless you plan it, I have an example. I did some diving, spearfishing in Orkney, and Orkney. So there's archipelago with a lot of current in and out between the islands, and I did a 4 kilometer drift. But what I've done, I put my car at the end point, I study my drift, and then I start somewhere and I just take a lift all the way to where I park my car. So that was about 4 kilometers. So it's just, yeah, you need to learn your area. I never had really any problem with the tide, as I'm trying to I would say once I have kind of a problem where okay, the current was stronger than expected, but what I've done, I just get out of the water somewhere else in the middle and just walk my way back. I didn't try to swim back at all. Just the best way to do it, if you know there is an exit point somewhere further down, just carry on all the way down, further down into your exit points, and not fighting the current, and just walk your way back. Well, worst case scenario, what you're gonna destroy your socks, your neoprene socks, or you're gonna or to say that it's gonna be a bit warm with your wetsuit, but at least you'll be on land and safe. So the coefficient, Steve is asking about the coefficient. Actually, I don't know how they calculating it. You got tables for the full year where they give you the coefficient for every areas. So like Southport, Portland, Teignmouth, Salcombe, Plymouth, and all around the coast. So it's very local as well. You can differ as well. So you find this chart online, and that's free. So the app was called I'm gonna Nautide, Nautid. So that's one of them. The other one is the Navionics. That's the two main app I use for my for planning my dives. All right, Matt. No, I don't use I don't use anchor weights. So the main reason is I don't like to have my weight spread all around my body. I find that very dangerous because if you need to release your weight to go up quicker in an emergency situation, so you're gonna have the belt and then maybe the vest and then your ankle weight. So it's spreading the weight too far from it. Yeah, all around your body. I think is not a great habit to have. Unless you're spearing in 3 meters of water, where I can say, okay, well, you need to be very heavy to be setting properly on the seabed and between rocks. But otherwise, I wouldn't use any ankle weight. Yeah, I find that, and it's the same with the vest. I don't like having the vest when I go over 15 meters because if I need to take it off, it's too hard. In a tricky situation, it would be too hard, too complicated. So when your belt, you just pull one string and then all the weight is gone, and then you pop to the surface in less than 10 seconds. You are at the surface. So that the weight, the vest, I don't use it over my 15-meter mark because I don't like it at all. So I think it makes sense, but yeah, I don't. I wouldn't advise it. Oh, honestly, yeah, the season's going to be a bit shorter, but the fish is not any really yet anyway, because the water is still around 11 degrees. I'm not saying there is no fish. I'm saying it is not fully in. So you need to wait for the water to turn 12, 13 degrees at the moment, and the fish will be in inshore areas and easy to target. Yeah, just answer the question, Isme. And so yeah, this tilting point of the temperature going from 12 to 13 is that our limit, and the fish come back in. And then I would say go to Cornwall, and you will have some amazing views in September, October, and it's really. Last year we had like in September and October we had like a 15-meter views in Cornwall. So and even around Plymouth area, the South Devon, yeah, the North Devon, North Cornwall, so some area of North Cornwall. It's a bit trickier because they're exposed to the swell a bit more than the south part. But yeah, you got like Falmouth areas and stuff like that. Yeah, you will have some great views. Well, after, if you want to go abroad, you can go to the south of France. they still have like 30-meter views at the moment. So despite the war, but the fish is not that easy. So well, after you can go also tropical if you really want to go abroad. You got South Africa. Madagascar could be some nice place to go, or you got like Senegal. All the African coast, there is some pretty nice place to go fishing around the African coast. And actually the flights are not that expensive. So any company, I got some contacts, so I could find that if you're keen to go somewhere, I can find out some. I got some contacts, so yeah, I will be able to give them to you if you're thinking somewhere special. You need to move your Copenhagen flights. Well, there is some. You are flying with EasyJet again. Okay. Yeah, if you want to move your flight, you can go to the south of France end of in September. Some nice fishing there. Or after, I would say Brittany, but Brittany is very similar of what we have here in the UK. So maybe not worth it if we want a bit. Well, Jack, I think I answered to your question. I got Steve asking for some techniques to improve your breath hold technique while doing the lockdown. One in the lockdown. I would advise you to follow some guys on YouTube. He's called Stefan Mifsud, and he's the world static record holder with 11 minutes and 35 second breath hold. And he's doing some nice small tutorial way explaining what kind of exercise you can do, and actually you can do them during the lockdown in your back garden or even in your room. You don't need, he's not using crazy equipment or whatever, so it's a nice guideline. After if you really want to improve your breath hold and all of that, I would advise to go towards a freediving course that could really unlock some. Sometimes the thing is with the freediving side of the spearfishing is we got mental lock, where, oh no, I'm sure I can't get there, or I can't hold my breath for 10 seconds longer, and being a bit more specific, so working more on the freedive side, I would advise to go and do a freedive course where they will try to point and find what is blocking you to go further, and they will unlock that very easily, more easy than me during a spearfishing course where I'm trying to teach you spearfishing and doing a bit of a freediving side, but it's not my specialty. It's the hunting side of it more my specialty. So I would advise a good a simple freedive course will probably unlock a lot of small details and problems in your head and in your technique to make you at ease in 15 meters of water very easily.
Thanks, Max. That's great.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, Brittany looks like just Cornwall, Esme. I agree with that. I'm from the south of France, but I spent like 10 years going every summer for 2 months in Brittany, North and South Brittany, and it's really like Cornwall and South Devon. So if you want a bit of adventure, I would go to the Med or to one of those ocean Indian example. All right, guys. I think it's gonna soon stop. So thank you very much for coming and listening to me. And I'm gonna try to do that every week. So probably I will move the timing a bit more evening at some point, because to try to get a bit of everyone. There's still some guys lucky are working. I don't know if they're lucky, but they're still working. So. So evening time will be a bit more appropriate for them to join us. And but anyway, have a good day, and be careful. Cheers.